took that back from everybody was that we're all in this together, right? I mean, we're all human. None of us are perfect, nor will we ever be, okay? But nonetheless, it's important that we take that time to figure out how we can commit. Once we're willing to commit and once we know what it is we're willing to commit, the next step is to make progress, all right? And that's what Isabella is going to take us through, is how do we know what we're committing, but then how can we use the behavior change system that we set up to, in fact, go and put that into action? Because remember, we don't want to be the frogs that decide, but don't do it. All right, so the behavior change system that Isabella's going to talk about is going to help everybody progress in their areas. After that quick logistical note is after Isabella's presentation, we're going to come back for a final wrap up. We'll answer some questions and have some discussion, and then we'll send everybody off as day one of our challenge. All right, so Isabella, when you're ready, go ahead and share your screen.
Sure thing. Okay. Sharing it. Can you see that?
Yeah, 1 minute. It's just gray right now.
Okay.
There it is. So
you can see it?
Yeah, I would just zoom out a little bit, but yeah, we can see it.
Zoom out a little bit?
Yeah, well, go ahead. Once you get going, if needs to, it looks like it's a little stretched, but should be okay.
Here, that. Is that better?
That's a little bit better.
What?
That's good. So let me introduce you first, Isabella. So Isabella, guys, is one of our interns, and she is a graduating senior. She'll be graduating this winter, and she's awesome. She is total inspiration, and she lives the example of how to use your lifestyle for a healthful life. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Isabella.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Can you see other stuff on my screen too, or is just the PowerPoint?
Just the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, screen sharing is new to me. Okay, so as he said, we created a behavior change system. We call it Progress because it's about making progress in your life, your lifestyle habits. So starting out with leading causes of death in the US, we, not to be morbid, but we have already introduced the idea that a lot of the major health problems in the country can be prevented by lifestyle medicine. And it's something that a lot of people don't know about. And that is definitely useful information for a lot of people who want to start living healthier lifestyles, whatever the reason may be. But heart disease and cancer at the top of the list constantly remain in the leading causes of death in the US year after year. And diseases like these can be prevented, even reversed, with healthy lifestyle changes. So we'll be talking more about that with our other presentations in the future, but I wanted to share that. And behavior change is, can you see that? Okay. Behavior change is important because you have the power to reduce your chances of developing health complications like these by making lifestyle changes, developing healthier habits. Even the small ones matter. So you don't have to cold turkey, start dropping every unhealthy habit that you have. It's about making progress, not striving for perfection. So that's why we called it the Progress Behavior Change System. But not only will you have it has a lot of preventive effects, but working towards sustainable healthy behaviors will have a lot of immediate effects as well, such as increased energy, increased self-confidence, improved mental health, in addition to reducing chances of health complications and diseases such as the ones mentioned on the previous screen, obesity, diabetes, other leading killers as well. So you have the power to make that change. And a behavior change system is intended to be used as a guideline to help you set specific and achievable goals and brainstorm strategies that will be effective and sustainable for you. So there's no one solution that works for everybody. That's why we're not telling you what to do. We're not giving you instructions and telling you what changes you need to make and what strategies you need to use, but instead we're giving you a framework, a model that you can think about and work through to find what works for you. So with that being said, the suggested time frame that, for making behavior change is 31 days, but this is for motivational purposes. It's for guidance, and everybody progresses at a different rate. Everybody has different goals. Some are more extensive than others. Some may take longer to achieve. So that is there as a guideline and a suggestion, but can differ depending on your goal and how you progress. So there are 9 steps in the model, and I'm going to be taking you through them. So step number 1 is assess, evaluate. Evaluate your current habits. Think about a typical day in your life. How content are you with your current lifestyle habits? Do you find yourself wishing that you would eat healthier lunches, bring healthier snacks to work, stop napping in the middle of the day, things like that? What are your concerns with your current habits? So thinking about what you want to work towards changing. And I have included quotes at the bottom of the steps. I won't read them, but you can look at them. They are also listed on our handout that we provide. It's on the website. You can use that. It's kind of a condensed version of this whole PowerPoint you can use to kind of think about your goals and work through the model with your goals. And the quotes will be there as well, but I find them pretty fitting for what each of the steps are. Step 2 is purpose. So thinking about why you want to make the change, perceived benefits, what could you gain from making the change? What will it benefit you? Will it benefit others? Like Steve mentioned earlier, his example, do you want to live for your great grandchildren? Do you want to be in shape to feel good for yourself, but maybe also you want to be in good shape to play sports with your kids? And thinking about what is driving your desire for change. And this is personal for everyone. And we encourage you to dig deep to find that motivation for yourself. So step number 3, prioritize. So targeting a specific goal. If you have multiple health goals, think about which one you want to target first, because you want to start specific with one health goal instead of attacking multiple. So writing down your health goals, evaluating the importance of each of them, thinking about the perceived benefits of each of your goals, what you'd gain from accomplishing each of them, and comparing them, selecting one to be the main goal that you're going to focus on. This will be your guiding light as you create and execute your change. And going along with that, it's important to prioritize making the change. So an essential component of change is that you must make it a priority and commit and persevere. So if it's important to you, you should make it a priority in your life. Mindset. So determining how you will think or how you will choose to think about your change efforts. And I find it beneficial to start out my day by reading positive quotes hung up on my bedroom wall. I like to watch motivational videos at the beginning of my day. Steve showed me great videos called Minute with Maxwell that I love to start out my day by listening to. We can share those with you guys as well, but he was mentioning John Maxwell earlier, and he got me into that. I find that starting my day with listening to motivational sayings and being positive will help me be proactive, productive, puts me in a good mindset for the rest of my day. So determining about how you're going to think about your change efforts might be beneficial to maintain just positive mindset. And assessing your readiness to make the change also is important. So make sure you're mentally prepared to make the change. If you truly don't feel ready, take some time to focus on gaining the confidence you need to feel ready. That is important. But remember, while growth and change can be challenging, Nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. So you owe it to yourself to live well, to live healthy, and you are capable of making that happen. And we hope that after a health challenge, you will be well equipped with information to make these healthy changes in your life. And this quote, you can read if you want. Game plan, the next step. Thinking about what is required, thinking about what strategies give the greatest return, reward, setting SMART goals, which SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-oriented. So setting SMART goals and making to-do lists. Often it's better to start out small with a small goal, with a specific goal, and making sure it's achievable instead of a goal that's way over your head. You want something that is realistic for you. And thinking about things like, how can you enlist social support? Who in your life will support you and your health goals in changing the behavior? And also maybe you want to make a goal with someone else. Going to the gym with a friend might help you keep you accountable, or being in it with a community of people is great for the support, for the accountability. Strategies like that are good to think about in this step. So also potential obstacles or challenges. How do you think you can overcome potential barriers that you see arising? So thinking of strategizing, thinking of strategies that can help you overcome these in this stage, so that if you do happen to encounter them, you're equipped and you're prepared to overcome them. So thinking about that, and along with that, have you attempted this change before? What did you learn from previous attempts? What did you encounter barrier-wise? What was successful about past attempts? What did you learn? All of these bullet points are important to think about and can help you when you're actually in the action stage, which is our next step. So here is where you want to execute your game plan that you made in the previous step. So implementing the strategies that you came up with, executing the game plan you came up with, like I said, checking things off your to-do lists, giving yourself reminders that you can overcome barriers that come your way, and you have come up with good strategies to overcome them and work through them. So also maybe implementing a reward system, rewarding yourself when you reach milestones or reach short-term goals. So maybe buying yourself something that you were eyeing, saying, oh, I'll buy this new activewear for my workouts when I reach my goal of losing 4 pounds. Things like that, because celebrating your successes is really important and good for your self-confidence and to keep you motivated and encouraged. So third to last, reflect. Reflecting on what you accomplished. What did you accomplish that made you proud? What did you do well? Similar to the first step, evaluating how your experience was. There's something to learn from every experience. What did you learn? What did you love? What was holding you back, if anything? So what are some things that limited you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish? You can reflect on that and then apply it to new goals that you might have. And every experience is a learning experience. So taking time to reflect and assess at the end of any challenge you do is beneficial. Improving. So continuing to progress after you reach your goal. Even if you didn't reach your goal, there's always room for improvement. So always working towards your goals. Like I said, the timeline at the beginning, just a guideline. Obviously take as long as you need. Making small steps are great. It's even the smallest of steps is something to be proud of. And if you did achieve your goal and are ready to use it in another area of your life, you can use the framework to make improvement in any other core areas and any other goals. So if you have achieved your target behavior, that's great. And we encourage you to continue improving. Lastly, lead. So leading by example and serving others, you are able to demonstrate what is possible and have a positive influence on others because you have accomplished this great thing yourself. You can show other people that it's possible. You can encourage them and be a role model for them. So this quote, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." I love that quote. So some tips for success. Like I said at the beginning, there is no one solution that works for everyone. You may have to try several different strategies, often through a process of trial and error, to find out what works for you to help you achieve your goal. So everybody is different. Everyone has different goals. There's not going to be one strategy that works for everybody, and it's something you have to go through and figure out yourself. And the keys to achieving and maintaining your goals are to try new techniques and find ways to stay motivated. Similarly, it's important to keep an open mind and brainstorm all possible strategies that you might think will help you. Picking a behavior that you have full control over. Learning more about the benefits of the desired behavior for additional motivation, which you'll learn a lot about throughout the presentations that we will be giving in the future. And celebrating your successes, similarly to what I said earlier. And relapsing. Relapsing is normal, happens to everybody. If you relapse, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let a setback undermine your self-confidence. If you lapse back to an old behavior, think about why it happened, what triggered it, what can you avoid. What can you do to avoid these triggers in the future? Like I said, every experience can be a learning experience, and it's important to not let it discourage you. And progress of any kind is something to be proud of. One of the quotes earlier in the slide said, "Strive for continuous improvement, not perfection." So be proud of the small changes, just as proud of the small changes as the big ones. And if you don't reach your goal and you made steps, be equally as proud of yourself for making progress and improving and bettering yourself at all. And lastly, growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. I already said that, but I just really like that quote, so I included it here at the end too. And then, I also included this one. There is no better time than now to start living healthy. So it's never too late to start. Like Steve said, whether you're 80 years old or 5 months old, there is no better time than the present. You're never too old, never too young. It can only be beneficial to you and those around you. And yeah, that's all. Thank you. And like Steve mentioned earlier, like I mentioned earlier, this is on our website under our beautifully designed website, thanks to Sophia, under the Virtual Health Challenge with Week 1 tab. The progress handout, which I can show you now, will be there along with the PowerPoint. Maybe I can switch to the handout. Should I do that?
Sure.
Okay. Let me figure out how to stop. Oh, there we go. Okay. Did it stop?
Yep. Yeah, no, go ahead and share the other document.
Okay. Here we go. Oh. It's not pulling up. I can't. Sorry,
right.
my computer is being so slow. I'm sorry if I'm freezing. Oh, you got it. Thank you so much.
I can share.
Mine was being so slow loading, but
yeah, let me go ahead and share.
Here they are.
So here's all the different handouts, guys. So what you're looking at here is the website. I know I started to share that a little bit earlier. But as you go on there, so a couple things, little logistics is we have our weekly newsletter. So let me show you this. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Under each of these, you'll see in there, we have tips and challenges for each of the areas. So every week, we're going to give you a new one of just basically some tips with some suggested challenges. So you can take them, you can get rid of them, or you can make them your own and adapt them. But essentially in each of the 6, eat smarter, move more, sleep more soundly, manage stress better, cultivate relationships, and avoid risky substances. For each of those 6, we want everybody to help being more conscious of it. Has anybody ever looked to buy a car? Like I know, for example, when we were looking at buying a minivan, all I saw was minivans. The whole world of cars became minivans because it was now in my conscious mind. So what we are trying to do with all of you is to be conscious about these 6 core areas, because what's going to happen is you're going to be much more willing and able to be aware of these areas to where you can then start to take some improvements in that area. So there's the newsletter for that. The presentation that I had done for committing to the challenge is here. The handout for committing the challenge is here as well. All you have to do is click the download icon. So I would recommend download, save it to your computer. Also print it would be really great to print it for everybody. And it walks through each of the stages that I mentioned. Isabella's presentation for progress is here, and then the handout that she's mentioning is here. So it has a quick little touch base for each of those, and it really goes through and it helps you understand all the areas that she had mentioned. There are 2 additional resources there, and I know we talked earlier about the right priorities and the right actions. So we created this document here that is an actionable thing for you to go through and write out. What is the priority that you have? Use this worksheet here, download it and use it, and write, what is it? It might be manage stress better. All right, so what are the tools? What are they? Is it an app on your phone that helps you do focused breathing? Is it taking a quick little stretch break? Is it going for a walk? What are the tools at your disposal to help you go through and answer these reflective questions as well? And then the last worksheet and document we have here is a value worksheet. So this is something I recently got into the last couple of years, is understanding your values, being crystal clear about them, but setting goals based off of those values. So being able to say, what's most important to me? Who do I want to be? And then what are the values? What are the day-to-day behaviors and actions I need to take to fulfill that, to really be the best version of myself? And then also there's 2 videos in here. One compliments of Isabella. It's a little workout video. Anybody's looking to do a 4 or 5 minute little workout video for your arms, that's on here. And then we recently created, in addition to our website challenge page, we created our own YouTube page as well. So we're going to be putting more and more videos out there, whether it be grocery store shopping clips, whether it be workout videos. We want to spend some time here in the next couple of minutes to ask you guys, how can we best serve you? Because our team is very willing and able to shift and pivot based off of what it is that you would like us to help you with. So guys, first and foremost, appreciate you, Isabella. Great job, Isabella, for presentation. She did wonderful. So with that being said, any questions for Isabella or the team on progress and how you can start to make progress in your own life? Who wants to start us off? Anybody have any questions about the system that we created? A good quote, by the way, guys, about systems is, systems are like freeways. If you take them, they'll get you to where you want to go a lot faster than if you don't, right? So think about that. Let me say that again. Systems are like freeways. You might think, wow, that's 9 steps. That's 8 too many, right? Now, the reason why it's there is to help you make progress in the area. You can't just assess. You know, every semester I have the opportunity to teach students, and they always think, all right, well, I evaluated myself. Now what? All right, now we build off of that. So we evaluate and then we continue forward. But just keep in mind, systems can help you stay in check, because one thing we can say without any doubt is that all of you have value to add. All right, and we believe that we, the Transform team, are people of value that want to add value to others. All right, so that's the way we want you to approach your life, is figure out how you can be the best you, so you can be that better Christian or that better father or mother or brother or sister or whatever it might be. All right. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and shift now to our final session, which is basically wrap up. And this is kind of an open forum. So if anybody wants to share your personal transformation stories, feel free. You know, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. I didn't have any pre-scripted share, but if anybody wants to share some of the benefits that you've experienced from taking some of the steps we've done, this would be a good time, because not everybody is at the same point in our life. Some of you might say, well, I kind of think all vegans are crazy, right? Like I used to think vegans were hippies, and I'm a hypocrite, right? Now, So now what I have to understand is, wow, there's a lot more to it than that. All right. So with that being said, first and foremost, I'll open it up. Does anybody have any transformation stories or testimonials that you'd like to share? It just can be a quick little thing of some benefits maybe you've experienced or anything along those lines.
I would say weighing yourself twice is a very helpful tool. Once in the morning, once at night. Gives you a motivation factor, maybe stops you from doing something like eating at night. So I don't think that's been mentioned tonight, but it's been mentioned in the past, weighing yourself twice.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And we've heard all kinds of things about weighing ourselves. And a lot of times if we have body image challenges where we're really hard and critical, we don't want to really focus on the number too much. But for others of us, it might be beneficial to say, having that accountability, the bookends of the day, like John said, could be a good tip for some of us. If it doesn't work for you, then certainly nix it. But that's a good share, John. Thank you. Who else wants to share? What are some things that have worked for you or some benefits you've experienced?
I'm surprised how tasty the food was, because I thought when my husband and daughter ate that way, it looked gross to me, but it was when I started it in January and February, I was surprised how tasty it was.
Yeah, that's a good point, Andy. And when we think about it, I don't think your name's Andy, by the way. Is your name?
No, I'm Margie. That is my husband's thing, and I don't know how to operate. I'm like on the computer. He's working from home.
My brain just kind of went with it. I'm like, I don't think her name's Andy. But anyway, so yeah, that's a good point. And that's one of the things that call out for everybody is that your palate changes. And I'm sure Karen could go into a little bit more of the science behind it. But when we're used to this highly concentrated processed food, high in salt, sugar, and fat, when we cleanse that a bit, what we'll notice is our palate changes. And real food actually starts to have a really good taste, okay? So to that point, that's one of the things that I used in our small group earlier, that foods start to taste incredibly better because there's so many different types of plant foods that are out there, and your palate does improve for sure. So thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? What are some tips or tools or benefits you've experienced?
An easy way to start, Ed, sorry, I'm hearing an echo from the other iPad, is start with oatmeal. I remember because I started going to the Transform in the fall before the challenge. And I remember one of the first sessions that I attended, we talked about just having oatmeal for breakfast. And that was the first change that I made. I switched from having granola to having granola with soy milk, just to having oatmeal, water, and I put some nuts in it and maple syrup, and I lost weight just doing that, just going with the oatmeal. So for anybody who's maybe getting started and thinking about how they're going to do it, that's a very simple change, and I found it to be very beneficial. And the other thing I wanted to say about what John said about weighing yourself twice, that's what I find is I weigh myself once a day, every day in the morning, and don't panic if one day you weigh more, you lose, you weigh less, then you weigh more. I find that my weight fluctuates. And so, I've lost weight steadily, but I do fluctuate. I go up, I go down. So I find that interesting.
That's great. Thank you, Grace. Appreciate you sharing that.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to share?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jody.
I found for the movement part, so for that, like I've done a couple of virtual challenges with this running club I'm in, and I've been meeting a friend every morning who's in this group also, Mary Ellen, at 6:30. And we meet each other and we go do our hour and a half every morning. So that's been helpful, just having a accountability partner.
That's great. Thanks, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. All right, who else wants to share?
I just wanted to add about oatmeal. If you ever have instant oatmeal, I think it tastes like paste. Get good oatmeal and get
Yes.
still cut oatmeal, get oat groats. There are a lot of different ways to cook it, and just stay away from the pasty stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good share. And so comment about, like Grace said, just the one simple change can lead to a cascade of other changes.
Mhm.
But then to Michael's point, there's many different types. And one of the things we recently started getting into was oat groats. And you can buy them whole. It's the whole oat before any processing. But nonetheless, they're really good and chewy. It kind of is like a ricey type of texture. But anyway, that's a good share. Thanks, Michael. Who else would like to share?
You could do savory oats instead of like fruity. If you're a morning oat person and you have oats that have your morning fruit or nuts and maple syrup and that kind of stuff, you can totally switch it and do savory oats and add beans and sweet potatoes. And we have a concoction coming for you later in the challenge. But savory oats, you can have oats any time of the day.
Yeah. Thanks, Vicki.
And also, I know like when classes weren't online, I like didn't even have time in the morning to like make breakfast or anything. And so I really liked overnight oats because I can make them all at once. I'll like line up my mason jars, throw everything in, close the lid, and then be done with it. And I was like trying different recipes on Pinterest to see what I liked. And trying like the milk to oat ratio that I really liked. And again, like back with what Michael said, like buy a big like jar of just oats and you can use it for whatever you want. You can even make your own oat flour with it. You can use it if you're making like burgers or like things like that. I know people put oats. You could use it for muffins. There's like so many things you could use it for. But I started like putting blueberries in the overnight oats because I wanted like fresh fruit in there. But then I was realizing, like, what if I could get more blueberry flavor in my oats? So what I actually did also, because like buying fresh blueberries is a lot more expensive than like buying like a big bag of frozen blueberries. And I feel like blueberries go bad within a couple days too. So what I started doing was buying like huge bags of like frozen blueberries from Costco. And then when I'm getting ready to make my overnight oats, I'll like boil some, like bring it to like a simmer until you get that like juice. And then I pour it into my oat mixture. And then the next morning I have literally like purple colored overnight oats. And the oats have been infused with that like blueberry flavor. So good. It brings so much flavor to my oats. And I'm not adding like, so if you're like interested in weight loss and you don't want to add like agave or maple syrup, which can be like a little higher in calories if weight loss is your objective, the blueberries definitely add that sweetness without all the calories.
That's great. Thank you, Sophia. So who else has an oat story? we could just keep talking about oatmeal. And it's just a good example of, where we are. And I wanted to kind of take a quick pause. And I wanted you guys to start with the end in mind. And this is something that we have to think about, not just where we are and where we're headed, but what do we hope, what does success look like, okay? So success on the back end of this looks like this. So we did a challenge in January, very similar challenge to this. We did it in person. It was pre-COVID, when the world was a little bit different and everybody wasn't so scared. But we had 74 people registered. We averaged about 33 people per session. Okay, so we have 51 registered this time for the virtual. Let me give you some statistics of what we were able to accomplish with the people that really did the work and that committed, okay? Because I want you to start thinking of, wow, this really works. Maybe I will give up meat, or I really will stop drinking, or whatever it might be. All right, so the average weight reduction per person was 7.4 pounds. All right, 7.4 pounds per person. One person lost 20 pounds, okay? And in 4 weeks, same 4 weeks that we're doing here. All right, so it's incredible. We then had an average drop in systolic blood pressure of 6.5, and then an even greater increase for, individuals. That was the average. We had an average drop in diastolic, which is the bottom number of your blood pressure, of 3.1. The average drop in total cholesterol for all of you that want to lower your cholesterol was 57. That was the average drop in total cholesterol, all right? And the secret behind that is that if you don't consume cholesterol, your body will flush out all the excess, all right? And hint, hint, cholesterol only comes in animal products, all right? So if you don't eat eggs, cheese, or animal products, you won't have any cholesterol in your diet. Kim, you had a question?
No, just a comment, Steve. So me and my husband both had blood work done. We were in the January challenge. I'm sure you remember he's the one who stopped eating eggs because of Vicky.
Yep.
So his cholesterol dropped 56 points. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, mine only dropped 11, but that's why I'm back. I still want to work on things. But yeah, we both had really good results with that class, and we've cut out quite a bit, put some stuff back in that we want to still get rid of, like cheese. So that's why I'm back, but I did want you to know about his cholesterol numbers. It's a great result.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's kind of why we're here and why we're doing this, because of the impact that it can have on us. And then I'll tell you, average drop in LDL cholesterol was 35, which is the bad cholesterol. People drop triglycerides, people drop glucose. And not only that, I mean, energy goes up, people felt better, we had a sense of community, and we enjoyed ourselves. That's what we're looking to do with you guys throughout this challenge, all right? And I know we only have a few more minutes left here, but wrapping up today, our humanness is all the same, right? We're all people of value that can be better, and we should be better in a lot of ways, all right? So here's the challenge for all of us. Take a look at the commitment, the Commit to the Challenge handout. Go through and personally reflect and think to yourselves, what am I willing to do? You might pick 3 things. You might pick all 6. Go through and set a tangible goal for you to work on. Then also print the progress handout and leverage that to say, in each of these areas, how can I use the progress system? Remember the quote, they get you to where you want to go faster than if you don't use them. Freeways are beneficial unless there's an accident, right? You want to get there, you want to use them, okay? So use that tool, use that resource. But none